It's your girl Asia. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. I know, trust me, I know it's been a minute. But, you know, your girl is tired. I don't know what else to tell you. Your girl is tired. I'm in my third trimester. Okay, I got a whole toddler. I'm pregnant and I'm tired. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm tired. But anyways, today I'm going to be giving you guys a labor and delivery story time. I remember I had made a poll. I don't think it was a poll, but I had asked the question on my story to see who was interested. And I had a few people hit me up and be like, yeah, girl, I want to hear your story. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me do it. And I was supposed to do it a long time ago. Long story short, it didn't happen, but today it's happening. It's happening today. Before we get into the story, why do I feel like I'm always burping in every video? Anyways, excuse me. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, interact with your girl because it helps me come up with the video ideas and stuff like that. And I might mess around a little more often. Who knows? But yes, interact with your girl. Anyways, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. We're gonna go ahead and get straight into the video. So, I wanna say around when I was like 35 weeks pregnant with Eli is when I was like, okay, we gotta start getting these exercises in. You know, I don't wanna say exercises, but walking more often. I was like, I need to walk more often. You know, just to get me somewhere in the dilation. You know, we trying to get somewhere. So, you know, I started going for, well, no. At the time, we lived in these apartments and we lived upstairs. So I would walk the stairs and stuff. And we had got Stella a few months before that. If you don't know who Stella is our dog. She's a blue-nosed pit. So I would walk her 3 times a day, you know, so I could get my steps in and all that stuff. And I think around this time is when you're going to the doctor like every week, I think. So yeah, and at like 35 weeks, we go to the doctor. She do an ultrasound check on the baby, try to get his face. And he was always covering his face. He's so stubborn. Like he didn't want nobody looking at his face. So, yeah. So yeah, every other appointment that we had leading up to my due date was January 1st, 2020. And leading up to that due date, I don't think she really checked if I was dilated. She didn't check if I was dilated until I was like 38 weeks, I think. It's like 38 weeks. And no, she didn't check if I was dilated at all until the appointment the day before my due date. So December 31st, right? Yes. December 31st, I had an appointment. At this point, I'm 39 weeks. I think right before my 40-week mark, because January 1st was my 40-week mark. I think. Don't quote me. So December 31st, we go in. Was it? No. It was the 30th. I'm bugging. It was the 30th. I think. I don't remember. We was in the hospital for a whole week, so I don't remember what. I know I have a video. I think I have a video that I saved on our way to the hospital. So if I have that, then I'll insert the clip. But anyways, so this was my very last appointment, right? We're on our way there. And I was telling my husband on the way to the doctor's appointment that I don't want to go over my due date. I want him to come January 1st. And mind you, I had been trying to do exercises and all that stuff. My nose is so itchy. But yeah, I had been trying to do squats, do walking up and down the stairs, and you know, I had been trying different stuff to get myself dilating and, you know, to kind of get him ready to come. But it didn't seem like anything was working. Oh, excuse me. So, on the way to the appointment, I told my husband that I didn't want to go over my due date and that I wanted to ask my doctor if I could be induced. And my husband, he agreed. He was like, yeah, you know, I think that being induced is a good option, you know. So I was like, okay, cool. So when we get to the appointment, I'm gonna ask her, see what she say, you know. So we get to the appointment. She does a little ultrasound to check on baby boy. He's still covering his face. I mean, but even then, around that time, you can't really see too much of anything anyway, because ain't no more room in there. So yeah. So before I can even ask her anything, okay, she checks me to see how much I'm dilated. I was dilated 2.5 centimeters. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I'm actually dilated. Like, it wasn't much, but shit, and but really, technically, I was only 2 centimeters. She kind of tried to stick another finger in there, and then it, you know, she was like, okay, you got 2.5. I'm like, girl, like, relax. You're doing a little too much. If I'm at 2, I'm at 2. But she was like, I'm gonna just say you at 2.5. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. So after she checked to see if I was dilated, she's like, okay, so here's what I want to do. She's like, I want to schedule you to be induced. And I was like, okay, cool, because I was going to ask you about getting induced anyways. She's like, yeah, so she was like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, yeah, you know, it was something that I wanted to talk to you about, you know, that me and my husband had talked about on the way here. And I was planning on talking to you about it anyways. So she was like, yeah, you know, I think it would be good. You know, I want to schedule you to be induced. She was like, let me call and see what I have available and get you in. So I'm like, okay. So she calls, I think it's her nurse, her assistant or something like that. And she's like, hey, you know, I want to schedule not a C-section. I was about to say C-section. She was like, you know, I want to schedule a patient to be induced. What do I have open? And homegirl was like, oh, we have something available tonight at 11. Like, you have an open spot tonight at 11. It was either 11 or 11:30, one of the two, I don't remember. So I looked at my husband like, oh shit, like today? Like, I thought it was gonna be in a couple days or something, like, you know. But yeah, so I think it was the 30th. It was December 30th was my last appointment. So I got it. So she looked at us, she was like, is tonight okay? And I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, me and my husband were like, yeah, tonight is perfect. So she's like, yeah, you know, we can do tonight, that's fine. So boom, I'm officially scheduled to be induced tonight, December 30th at 11. She was like, come in tonight and check in early, and then you go from there. And she's like, here's what they're gonna do. They're going to give you a pill. They're gonna give you this pill, and it's just to kickstart the contractions. It's gonna kickstart the contractions. 9 times out of 10, the first pill don't do nothing. Okay. She said, then so you're gonna wait 4 hours. They're gonna come back, check you, see if you've dilated any. 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna work. But yeah, so they're gonna give you a higher dosage, and then they're gonna leave for 4 hours. You know, see if that kickstarts any contractions. It usually does a little something, but not too much. If it doesn't do anything at all, they're gonna come in with the Pitocin. So I'm like, okay, sounds fairly easy. But I did previously hear a few things about Pitocin and how Pitocin ain't usually the best thing, because a lot of people say Pitocin makes the contractions hurt even more. But how the hell am I supposed to know that? It was my first kid, so I was like, I don't know, fuck, get him out. Get him out. So yeah, so boom. So she gave me the whole rundown and she was like, I'll see you tonight. And I was like, I'll see you tonight. So we leave and we're like, oh my God, like it's happening tonight. Like, this is insane. Hold on just a second. I need to see if he's up. Okay, he's good. So yeah, so we're like talking, we're like, oh my gosh, like this is really happening tonight. Like he's gonna be here soon. Like we're all super excited and stuff. We call our parents and our parents are super duper excited and stuff. So yeah, so after we leave the doctor, we go to Einstein's Bagels and we got us something to eat. We went home, we ate. Chris, I had packed the diaper bags and I told Chris to pack his overnight bag. I think it was like a week or something before that. So we were really just putting last minute stuff in the bags. So all the bags was packed. He put the car seat in the car, and yeah, so it was like, we're gonna wait to put the bags in the car. That way when we wake up, we can brush our teeth and stuff and then put all that in the bags. So we were like, okay, cool. So after we ate, we sat down, we chilled for a little bit, and then we got ready for bed kind of early. Well, I think because we had to be out the house by like 10:30. We had to be out the house by like 10:30-ish. And yeah, so around 7, I think 7, we showered and got into bed because it was like we want to get as much sleep as we can, because when we're in the hospital, we thought we wasn't really gonna get no sleep like that. So we did that. The alarm goes off at 10:30. We get up, we brush our teeth, get the bags in the car. We're on our way to the on our way to the hospital. My nerves didn't even kick in at this time. Like, I was just really, really excited. I'm like, it's finally here. I'm finally get to, meet my son. But it's like, other things is running through my mind as well. Like, how are these contractions gonna be feeling? I mean, obviously I have been getting Braxton Hicks, but Braxton Hicks is minor compared to real deal contractions. So I'm like, how are these contractions gonna feel? When will my water break? Like, it's like all of this stuff is going on through my mind, like, So we get to the hospital, we go up to the room that we're supposed to go up to, and we check in. Whew, I'm out of breath. But so we check in, and they give me my gown and stuff. They take us to the room that we're gonna be delivering in. So yeah, we get in there. She's like, go ahead, put this on, and when you come out, I'll get you hooked up to all the monitors and stuff. So I go put the stuff on or whatever, and Lord Jesus, hold on. Sorry about that. So, anyways, so where was I don't even remember where I was. Okay, so I put the gown on, I come out, and fucking Dixie. I come out and she hooks me up to the monitors. There's one monitor that monitors your contractions, and the other one monitors the baby's heartbeat. So she hooks me up to that. She puts the IV in my hand and stuff. And I think after she had put the IV and stuff in, she gave me the first pill. She gave me the first pill, and she's like, okay, after I give you this pill, we're gonna wait 4 hours, come back, see if you've dilated. If that didn't do anything, then we're gonna give you a higher dosage. So I'm like, okay, already knowing what's about to happen and what's about to go on, because my doctor already kind of gave me the rundown. So I take the first pill, nervous as fuck. Like, I was so nervous because I'm like, what if it does actually do something? And my main thing was I was afraid of feeling the contractions. I didn't want to feel the contractions. So I was like, what if it actually does do something and I start feeling contractions and shit? Like, when can I get the epidural is the question. When can I get the shit so that I don't feel the shit? You know? Like, that's where my mind was at. So, so I take that and we're waiting or whatever. And, can y'all sit down somewhere? Hey, sit down. I'm talking to you too, Dixie. You be the main one starting it. Anyways, so me and hubby, we sit down, we chilling, we talking or whatever. I think I ended up falling asleep. I'm pretty sure I ended up falling asleep. Pretty sure. Yeah. This whole time I was like in and out of this, so part of this stuff I don't remember. Excuse me. So 4 hours goes by. She's like, she checks me to see if I've dilated any. Didn't dilate at all. I was still 2.5 centimeters. So she was like, okay, so we're gonna give you the other pill, which is a higher dosage. So I'm like, okay, cool. Bet. She gives me the other pill. I throw that shit back. I'm like, shit ain't nothing. I ain't feeling nothing. I'm like, what? I ain't feeling nothing yet. So I take that one. And she's like, once again, we're gonna wait 4 hours, come back, check you. And if it doesn't have you dilate at all, we're gonna give you the Pitocin. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she leaves, me and hubby, we sitting there, we talking or whatever. He comes, he looks at the heartbeat and all of that. I can't feel my Braxton Hicks at this point. I couldn't feel him at all. So yeah. Whew, I'm out of breath. So I think I ended up falling asleep again. I'm pretty sure I ended up falling asleep again, and then look at them. They get on my nerves. They get on my nerves. Anyways, so after that, I think they came in, they checked me again. I still didn't dilate. I didn't dilate at all. I didn't dilate at all. So she's like, okay, so we're gonna come in, we're gonna give you the Pitocin. Now that my ass was afraid of, and I was like, okay, so I know you're gonna give me the Pitocin, but when can I get the epidural? Because I would like to have the epidural. So she's like, I don't know, you would have to ask your doctor. You know, normally we wouldn't recommend you get the epidural so soon. We usually would tell you to wait, but it all depends on what your doctor says. I'm like, okay. She's like, if you want, I can go get your doctor and she can come in and all of that. I'm like, yeah, please, because, oops. So I'm like, yes, please, because I need to know. I need to know. So she puts the Pitocin in or whatever, and she gets the doctor. And the doctor comes in a little while after that. She checks to see if I'm dilated. No. She came in and she was like, the nurse said that you had a question for me or something. I was like, yeah, I just wanted to know when I can get the epidural. And she was like, I would say if you want. Wait, is that how that happened? I don't think so. No, okay, so yeah, she did. She came in and she checked me to see how far I was dilated. She was like, okay, you know, I would say you're about 3 centimeters. I think she came in like an hour after that or something like that. Mind you, she had other people that, you know, she's delivering babies for and stuff like that. So she came in maybe like an hour or something later, if I'm remembering this correctly. And she checks, she's like, okay, I'm gonna check and see how far you dilated. And she was like, okay, I'll say you're about 3 centimeters. And I'm like, okay, well, when can I have the epidural? I'm like, when can I get the epidural? And she was like, you can get it now if you want to. Do you want it? And I was like, hell yeah, I want it. Is that even a question? Yes, give it to me. So she's like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the guy. Hey, cut it out. Anyways, so she's like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the guy in so he can do the epidural. And she tells my husband that he can't be in the room while I'm getting the epidural. And he's like, okay, well, I have to go down to the car to get some stuff anyways. So, the guy comes in and he gives me the epidural. Now, I was low-key afraid to get the epidural because of a lot of reasons. I had back surgery when I was 8. Not when I was 8, when I was in the 8th grade. I had back surgery, so I wasn't, you know, and I didn't bring it up to my doctors because I didn't feel I needed to, but I didn't know if that was going to be something that played a factor in me not being able to have the epidural. But yeah, so he came in and he was like, I need you to, you guys can't really see, but you can see a little bit. He told me to do this with my back as much as I could. And I'm like, I can't do that shit. Like, I can't do that. The hell? So he was like, is that as far as you can go? He's like, I see you have this scar here. What happened? And I was like, oh, I had back surgery when I was in the 8th grade. And he asked what it was for. I told him it was for scoliosis. All that. And he was like, okay. So he was like, okay, bend your back as much as you can. So I did what I could. And he's like, is that as far as you can go? I'm like, yes. So I'm like, is that gonna be a problem? He's like, no, you're fine. I just wanted to see if you could go any further than that. And I was like, no, I can't. He's like, okay. So he's prepping. He's wiping my back down and shit. And he's letting me know, he's like, okay, you're gonna feel a little pinch and then you're gonna feel a cooling sensation. I'm like, okay, cool. So I feel a little pinch. And my mom, she had told me that when the needle goes in your back, that you know how when you go to the doctor and they do that thing where they hit the spoon up against your knee and it makes your knee kick out. So she said, my mom told me that when the needle first goes in, it does make your knees kick out a little bit. So I was expecting that to happen, but it didn't happen. And I was like, what the hell? Did he do something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? What's happening? But anyways, so the little pinch, I feel a little pinch or whatever, then I feel a whole cooling sensation. I'm like, okay, all right. And like, I had watched a video on someone putting, a doctor putting the IV in your back, and I was just like, what the fuck? And I was just like replaying the whole video in my mind while he's doing it. And I feel like I shouldn't have watched the video, but I did it anyways. Yeah. So he finishes that up, he tapes it up or whatever, he says I can lay down, and he leaves. My husband comes back in the room. The nurse is like, okay, well, since you have the epidural, we don't let you get up and move around since it does numb your legs from the waist down, so we're gonna have to put this catheter in. So I'm like, okay. And there was a lot of reasons why I was okay with them putting the goddamn catheter in, because that means I can drink as much as I want to, and I don't have to worry about getting up to go use the bathroom every 5 minutes. Mind you, when, I don't know if this is for any other pregnant woman, but I be thirsty, especially towards the end. Oh, I be thirsty, and I be trying not to drink too much, especially at night, because that's when you freaking get up every hour to go to the bathroom, and I don't really got time for that. be trying to get as much sleep as I can. So yeah. So when she said we gotta put the catheter in, I was like, go ahead, do what you gotta do. And while you at it, bring me some water or some cranberry juice, and bring me some ice chips because I'm a little hungry. Okay. So yeah, they put the catheter in. She asks if there's anything that I want. I told her to bring me some cranberry juice. She told me, she let me know, she was like, you're on an all liquid diet. So, you know, you can have water, cranberry juice, I can bring you ice chips. And I was like, okay, I'll take some. I think I only said ice at the time. Not ice, I think I only said water at the time. I don't think I said cranberry juice. I just said water. So, yeah. I was a little jealous because before my husband went to Dollar Tree and got him some snacks, and I was like, wow. So he is sitting there, he munching on his little snacks and shit, and I'm drinking water, like, what the fuck? So, yeah. So she brings me some water. Oh, yeah, and she let me know, she was like, you can have Jell-O, you can have popsicles. Well, no, she didn't let me know. She didn't let me know that. Not at that time. She just said water, cranberry juice, ice chips. So I was like, bring me some water. Bring me some water. Okay. So yeah, so the Pitocin is in. At that point, I'm just chilling. The epidural's in. I'm chilling. They told me, oh, that was another thing. They told me that if I'm ever feeling anything, like if the contractions become too much, to press the button to, you know, send some epidural through my body, and it should help with the contractions. Okay, damn. It should help with the contractions and stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool, sounds good. So yeah, I ended up falling asleep again. Fell asleep again. And I was really in and out of it for like, I would go to sleep, then wake up and look at the baby's heartbeat, and, you know, look at my husband, just look around and admire what I'm going through right now, because it was crazy, you know. So they come in. Oh, Granny, you're gonna have to wait a minute. You're gonna have to wait a minute, and I'm gonna have to call you when I'm done. Okay. So yeah, so I fell back to sleep. Wait, what? No, they came in to check me to see if I had dilated any. This is after maybe some hours. I don't even remember how long, but it was after a few hours they came back in to check to see if I had dilated any. And I don't think I had dilated at the time. I think I was still like 3 centimeters, and I was like, come on, baby boy, like I need to dilate. Or not even baby boy, like I'm just like, I need to dilate, because I didn't want to have a C-section. I wanted to deliver vaginally. So I'm like, I don't, you know, I need to dilate. Okay. So they're like, give it some time, you know, you're not gonna dilate super duper fast, you know, so give it some time. I'm like, I went back to sleep, woke up, my mom and my dad came. They didn't allow more than 2 people in the room. So it was me, it's you, your support person, and then a guest. So my support person obviously was my husband. And so my mom and my dad, they had to come in one by one. What the hell? Y'all need to sit down somewhere and relax. So anyways, where was I? That completely threw me off. So yeah, my mom and my dad, they had to come in to see me one by one. So my dad, he came in, he asked how I was feeling, and then I want to say that was it, and then he left the room, and then my mom came in, and you know, she's like, how you feeling? And then I wasn't even awake for I don't even think I was awake. After my mom came in and she asked how I was feeling, I told her how I had been feeling. I went to sleep after that. I fell asleep after that. I don't think I stayed up. I think I was like, oh, I feel good, and then I was out. And yeah, Chris, he tried to get some sleep, but so I snored really loud, so he didn't really get no sleep like that because I would snore so loud, so he didn't really get no sleep like that. So, oh, my poor baby. But yeah. So they came in, they would come in, they would ask me some questions, all that good stuff. Yeah, so boom. Ooh. I want to say my doctor had came in to see if I was dilated. I want to say around this time I was like 5 centimeters or something. My water still hadn't broke on its own, nothing like that. So my doctor came in and she's like, she checked to see how far I had dilated. I think I was at 5 centimeters at the time, I think. And she's like, okay, so we're gonna break the water. We're gonna break your water, and hopefully that makes everything move a little quicker. So she came in, she got these little, they look like knitting things, little knitting toys that you use to crochet, She's like, okay, so you're gonna feel, she's like, you might feel like a little burst, and then you're gonna feel like a whole gush of water. And I'm like, okay. So she popped it, I feel this whole gush of water, I'm just like, ugh. Ew. Fuck. So she wipes everything up or whatever, and she's like, okay, so, you know, I'll come back in another few hours, see if you dilate, see how far you dilated, and how you feeling. I told her I was feeling good, and she left, and that was that. I took my ass back to sleep. And I didn't really start to feel the contractions until I want to say I was like 7 centimeters. When I was like maybe 6 or 7 centimeters was when I really started to feel them damn contractions. And then they had to put a peanut ball in between my legs. Not in between, but under my legs. They put the little peanut ball under my legs to see if that would help me dilate more or something. They put the oxygen mask on me for I don't remember what reason. Yeah, so that's how that went. My mom had came back in the room to see me, and she couldn't handle it. Because, mind you, at that time was when I was really starting to feel the contractions, and I had to breathe through the contractions. So at this time, me and my husband, every time I get a contraction, he's, you know, doing breathing exercises with me and stuff. And my mom was just sitting there like, ooh, I can't. It's just like, I can't watch this, like, you know. So she stayed in there for a little bit, and then yeah, she stayed in there and talked to me for a little bit, and then she ended up leaving the room. Whew. So yeah, so then doctor comes in like maybe an hour or two after that or something, I don't remember. Doctor comes in, she's like, okay, let's see where we at. And she checks me to see how far I dilated, and I'm at 10 centimeters. 10. So she's like, all right, you at 10 centimeters. Guess what that means? It's time to push. I was like, oh shit. Like I'm dead about to push a whole human being out the thing, you know, like this is happening. So yeah. So, oh, and then when she came in to check, when she said it's time to push, I had just ran out of epidural. Because Mind you, I'm feeling them contractions. I was pressing them damn buttons. I even had the guy come in and give me some more epidural because I was like, I need it for when I start pushing. Because, yeah. But I ran out. But after the first time I ran out, he came in, gave me some more, and then I ran out again right when it was time for me to push. So, but he wasn't coming in no more. It was like, you get 2 times and that's it. So yeah, so she's like, okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. You gonna hold on to the rails or whatever. Hubby, you gonna hold her leg up. And when I tell you to push, you're gonna take a deep breath. You're gonna push. And yeah, so first time pushing, she's like, okay, take a deep breath, push. She counts. She's like, okay, let the air out, take another deep breath and go right back into it. So go right back into it. I'm pushing again. She's counting. And she's like, okay. She told me to do it again. We do it again. And she's like, okay, take a little break. So we're taking a little break or whatever. And then I get another contraction. She says, push again. And she's like, okay, I was holding on to the rails. And she's like, is that helping for you? She's like, try putting your hands behind your legs and pushing your legs to your knees. Maybe that'll help. So I tried that and I was like, I don't like that. I was like, I don't like that. She's like, okay, well, if the rails is helping, you do that. So we're pushing, nothing. So she's like, okay, take a little break, wait till you get another contraction. If you feel another contraction, let me know and we'll push again. So I'm like, okay, so I'm laying there, I'm looking around. I can't really feel these fucking contractions. I don't know when they come or when they're not. I don't know. It was like at one minute I was feeling them and the next minute I wasn't. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm sitting there waiting for another contraction to come. And another one is coming. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to push now. She's like, okay. So we start trying to push again. She's like, yeah, it's not something right. So she puts her hand in there and realizes that Eli's head was turned. I don't remember what direction, but the baby's head was turned some way that would make me tear really, really bad. And so she was like, okay, his head is turned, so I have to try to turn his head. So I'm like, okay, so she's trying to turn his head. And when I tell you that shit hurt, it hurt so bad. I don't want to say so bad because it wasn't like did she hurt? It was more like, it was just the pressure. And it felt like I had to poop real bad. And then I felt like my tailbone was gonna break. It was just not a fun time. So, and then I started crying because I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, I'm fucking tired of people's hands going up there. I just want the boy out. Get him out. Please. So she's like, okay, we're gonna take a break. Okay. She's like, we're gonna try it again. She's like, I have to get his head to turn so that you can push. Otherwise, you will tear bad. So I'm like, okay, fine. So we're waiting. She's like, okay, are you ready? I'm like, yes. So my husband, he's like, look at me. Try not to pay so much attention to the pain. Just look at me and listen to my voice. I'm like, okay, I got you. She puts her hand in there. She turns his head. She's like, push. So I'm like, so I'm pushing. Hubby's in my ear. He's like, push. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying. I'm pushing. Ain't nothing happening. So she's like, okay, wait a minute. Stop. Because your pushes ain't doing shit. She was like, okay, so it's not, you're not allowing me to, do what I need. No, she didn't say that. She was just like, your pushes, they're not really doing too much of anything, and he keeps turning his head because didn't keep her hand on his head the whole time. She turned it, I pushed a little bit, she let it go, and I kept pushing. But he turned his head back. He turned his head back around. So she's like, yeah, it's not. She's like, listen, we can either sit here and you can continue pushing for 2 hours, or we can go in for a C-section. I'm like, yeah, no, we can push. We can push. Whereas my husband is like, C-section. I'm like, nope, C-section it ain't the way to go. We can push. We can push. So she's like, I'm gonna give you guys a minute to talk about it, and when I come back, let me know what you want to do. So they leave out the room or whatever. My husband is like, I honestly think that a C-section is the best way to go because your water is broke now. Baby only has but so much time. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I was like, okay, we can go in for a C-section. So doctor comes back in, we let her know that we can go in for the C-section. So now they're prepping me to do the C-section. Hold on, let me see if he's up. I ain't mad about it, he's still asleep. You go. So yeah, so now they're prepping me to go in for a C-section. One of the nurses comes in to do something or something like that, and she's like, she was talking to me about something. She's like, I don't know, because I know C-sections can be kind of hard, and I know you probably don't want to have a C-section, so maybe I can talk to your doctor about finding another way so that you can push. She starts talking about vacuums and shit. I'm like, who vacuuming what? But at the same time, I didn't want to have a C-section. I mean, if my baby come out with a cone head, I can always rub it and shape it a little bit, like it's okay. So I'm like, okay, shit, if anything so I don't have to have a C-section, I'm okay with that. So yeah, so she gets my doctor, she comes back in, she's like, let's try it one more time to push before we just go in for the C-section. So my doctor, she comes back in, fucking Dixie. Doctor comes back in, she's like, okay, we're gonna try to push one more time. I'm like, okay. Goes back in, she turns his head, I'm pushing as hard as I can. I'm pushing. Still nothing. He ain't getting nowhere. Nothing happening. So she's like, yeah, I think that we should just go in for a C-section. I feel like that's the best decision to make. So I'm like, okay. I tried, So they come in, they give me this drink to drink. I don't remember what it is. I remember it was kind of nasty. I don't remember what it was for, but they gave me this little drink to drink. A little bit TMI, but they shave you down there and shit like that. Yeah, so they wheel your girl in. My husband had to put on the little thing, the little suit with the hat. So yeah. Oh, and then when I got in the room, I know you don't gotta remind me. Shit. Anyways, when I got in the room, I asked, I was like, is it okay if I fall asleep? Because mind you, I have been so tired. And then getting the epidural. Oh, and I forgot to mention, having the epidural, I had all the other, my body had a couple of the reactions that a lot of women usually have. Shaking, and I was really tired. Some women throw up. I didn't do all that. But I was shaking. I did have the shakes after I had the epidural, and I got really, really tired after having the epidural. So I was like, is it okay if I fall asleep? And they were like, yeah, sure. Plenty of people have fallen asleep during the procedure, so I'm like, all right, today you ain't saying nothing but a word. You ain't saying nothing but a word. Because I was like, I just want to fall asleep and wake up, and my baby is in my arms. That's it. So, yeah. So we go in. They put the little drape up or whatever. I'm laying there. They had me lay there like this. They had me lay here like this. And then some guy at the doctor had came and said something to me, and next thing I know, I feel my body rocking back and forth like this. And when I tell you that shit put me to sleep, it put my ass to sleep. I was out. Fell asleep. Next thing I know, I hear my husband say, he was like, "Are you okay?" And I opened my eyes and I looked at him and I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And after that, I took my ass back to sleep. And next thing I know, I just feel this whole weight lifted off of me. And then I hear my baby crying. Mind you, I'm still asleep. But it's like, I don't know, it was like my eyes was closed, but I was awake it was like I was half asleep, half awake, you know? So it's like I can feel the weight lifted off of me, and then I can hear my baby cry. And then in my mind, I was like, that's my baby. That's my baby boy right there. Okay? And like something was telling me on the inside, like, girl, if you don't open your goddamn eyes. But it was like, I was tired. I was really, really tired. So, my husband, he went to go get pictures of Eli and stuff because the doctors called him over to get pictures. So yeah. And then the doctor, there was one of the male doctors, he came and woke me up and was like, okay, you know, baby boy's out, but we need you to stay up while they stitch you back up to make sure that you're okay. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. So after they finish cleaning up baby boy, they stitching me up and shit. They bring him over so I can say hi. And just seeing his face is just like, oh my gosh, like, this is my baby right here. I gave him kisses. And I was like, hi, handsome. I was like, hi, handsome butt. And I gave him some kisses. And I was like, I love you. I gave him some more kisses. And the doctor was like, okay, say, see you later, mommy. And I was like, see you later, handsome. And this part is so funny. So she is getting ready to walk away, and she's like, wait, you're not gonna give him no kisses? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So I gave him some more kisses, and then they went to the recovery room. And my husband, he didn't let Eli out his sight. Wherever Eli went, he went. And I was like, I didn't mind, shit, I'm all right. Go make sure my baby is okay. Because, you know, sometimes you hear a lot of stories about doctors and hospitals doing dirty stuff to kids, and I'll catch a case. So I was like, I'm okay, just make sure that he's okay, you know. So they stitched me up and stuff. They picked me up, they put me in the bed, and they wheeled me to the recovery room where I can now do skin to skin time with my baby boy. So yeah, we go in there, and he's in the little bassinet, and the nurse, she kind of undoes the gown and takes him and puts him on my chest, and I'm giving him kisses, and I'm just staring at him like, this is really like my son. Like I carried him, like this is something that we created. You know, like it was so crazy. It was so crazy to me. And me and my husband were sitting there, we're talking like we're really parents right now. Like this is real. Like this is really real. And my husband, he might be a little upset that I said it, but he cried. And I was like, see, I forgot to cry. I didn't have that moment. I didn't cry. Okay, not right then and there when I first laid eyes on him, or right when I heard him cry, and I didn't cry, but it just made me feel so happy, you know, and seeing him and getting to hold him just made me feel so happy. But I was also really fucking tired, so I didn't get that emotional connection right then and there, you know? Because it was like in my mind and in my heart, it's like, this is my baby, but it was like, I'm fucking tired. So we're sitting there, we're talking, he starts crying, and he was just like telling me how he was feeling while he was in there, because he got to see some of the procedure, he got to see the procedure be done. So yeah, so he's just like, this is like, you know, this is real, you know, we have a son, I'm a dad, like, you know. And in the midst of my skin to skin time, I fell asleep. So yeah, so the nurses come in, my doctor that did the procedure came in. They put Eli back in the bassinet since I had fell asleep, you know. They put him back in the bassinet or whatever, and she was letting me know that I did great, that the procedure went perfect. And then she started clowning because she was like, it was so funny. While we were in there, you know, we're working on the procedure, out of nowhere, we just start hearing her snoring really loud. Like, I've never heard someone snore that loud. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, I don't know, like, it was funny, but I felt so embarrassed at the same time. Like, all y'all heard me snore like that. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, so she's like, but other than that, the procedure went great. You did great. She let me know that she cut low. She cut low in the event, you know, our next kid, if I want to deliver vaginally, then I have that opportunity to deliver vaginally. So I'm like, okay, cool, bet. So yeah, so then the nurses come in and they're like, so here's what's about to happen. Now this is the part that I didn't like, okay? And this is what I'm not ready for again, at all. Oh, I can feel it now. I'm not ready. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not excited for it at all. So, after you have a baby, they have to come in and they have to push down on your stomach to make sure that all the blood comes out. That, you know, that they got all the blood out. And in the recovery room, they do it every hour. She's like, so, you know, we have to push down on your stomach to make sure all the blood is out or is coming out and stuff. And we have to do it every hour. So I'm like, okay. And she's like, when you get into your personal recovery room, then I think she said that it's only every 2 to 3 hours or something like that. I don't remember, but it wasn't every hour, and that's all I knew. So she did it the first time, and when I tell you that shit hurt like a bitch, that shit hurt like a bitch. It felt like I got stabbed. Felt like I got stabbed in my stomach in multiple locations, and I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because it hurt so bad. And yeah, and the blood came out, and that's that. We were in the recovery room for a couple hours, then they wheeled me to our recovery room, like our personal recovery room. Yeah, and that is the labor and delivery story time. My baby boy was born January 1st, 2020. He was 9 pounds. 9 pounds? I got the time. I got my times mixed up. He was born at 9:27 a.m. He was 7 pounds, 15 ounces. Yeah. Yeah, you know, and it was such a beautiful experience. And I look at my family every day and I'm just so infatuated, you know, like this is something that me and my husband decided to create, you know, and it's such a beautiful experience. And just having such a great supporter there, my husband, you know, not very many women get to experience having their significant other there, or having the father there genuinely supporting them, or like a lot of women don't get to experience that. And I just thank God that I was able to experience having such an amazing husband by my side, supporting me, being there for me, motivating me throughout the whole process. And and to this day, he's such a great father, and a great husband. So I thank God for all of that. And I'm so excited to have baby girl. I know I haven't revealed the name yet to too many people. I've revealed the name to some people, my mom and dad, and and some immediate family. So some people know her name, not everybody. I'll probably reveal the name in some video sometime soon. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. So yeah. So that's my labor and delivery story time. If you guys want a pregnancy update, let your girl know, and I will do a pregnancy update. But yeah, so that's it. Again, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Support your girl. Share my channel with your friends and your family, and don't forget to tell them to share my channel with their friends and their family. The list goes on. Period. I'll see y'all in my next video.